Yep, but it looks like we're getting into game number 1. Remember, these two players are very close to each other in points, and we'll have to see who's going to be the winner of this series in Noosh versus RecoN as this best of 3 here on the penultimate weekly of the Road to Red Bull Wololo.
And once again, we have the Rus in the red according to their flag, so everything is good there. We have RecoN as the blue playing as the Abbasid. Already scouts out there on the map trying to gather as many huntables as they can. We see Knuschelbär right now. He's using that wolf. He's just hitting it once, so the wolf follows the scout. And in order to keep the downtime as minimal as possible, he's just luring the wolf while he's still scouting out of the map, looking for any more wolves or deer to pick up along the way.
Yeah, and they'll basically follow unless they run out of line of sight. So Stealth Force can sometimes mess them if you get too far away. So you got to be careful as you're doing this. Not to go too far, but a great scouting path. Looks like he's already gotten 3 wolves right out of the gate, and looks like there's some sheep there as well.
Yeah, looking really good. And we all can also see that he's microing this deer. Usually if you just shift command attack all of these deer, it's going to take 3 attacks for your scout in order to kill them, or at least they're going to fire 3 times. But it looks like Knuschelbär is actually microing every single deer, so he only needs 2 hits per deer.
Yep, and so he's got those deer there on the left side. He's picked up some of the wolves and sheep up to the right. And RecoN, I'm assuming he's gone for a second scout. Yeah, we can see that up in the UI. So 2 scouts versus, of course, Noosh's 3. The problem is, it's like, if you meet into the Rus scouts, they're going to have 2 scouts together, where you as Absid are spreading yours out. Look at all those wolves.
4 wolves following Knuschelbär. That's 100 gold right there. On top of that, we have 5 sheep. Actually, 6 sheep, so that's another 30 gold there. 130 gold, so that's definitely enough to get Knuschelbär above the 250 bounty mark. Really, really good looking for him right now. We see RecoN at the same time. He's going for a Dark Age wheelbarrow at the moment with the Abbasid.
Nice. That's so did he open with berries? I would assume that's what typically, I mean, he must have if he's getting the wheelbarrow, so that's a stupid question. But the berry opening, now that's a hot topic. I'm a sheep boy myself, but some do like to go for their berries and their wheelbarrow.
I mean, it does make sense in theory. The berries, they do gather faster. And also, after you finish with the berries, you're able to just go onto the sheep. I mean, potentially you're going to be under pressure early on. And if you have the sheep gone earlier rather than later, you still have them, like you have to move out to the berries. And if you're under pressure at that point in time, it could be relatively rough for you. But now we see the scout just looping around the town center, waiting for the town center to finish off these wolves. Bounty looking really good. Really, really good Knuschelbär.
Yep, so of course, if you're new to the game, since I know we have some new players coming in the past week with the free-to-play weekend, the Rus have a bounty system. So as they kill those animals, not only do they get free gold from them, they also increase their gather rates for hunts.
Yeah, so there are 3 different tiers where the Rus actually get increased gathering speed from their hunts. So it doesn't just affect the gathering rate for food. It also affects the rate at which their hunting cabins, another unique building, is gathering gold. So the hunting cabins, they're a unique building. They replace the mill. If you build them next to wood lines, they actually generate gold. And based on how much bounty you have, they generate more gold. So that's also an important thing to keep in mind here. If you get to that 500 bounty, which is going to unlock that last tier, you can potentially get there by killing a lot of hunt early on, and then also going for the boars. That gives you a lot of gold in the later stages of the game.
And this is another part about why Rus is so annoying when you're fighting Abbasid, is you have to deal with these scouts harassing you, and they're always going to have more scouts than you. So it's kind of this awkward back and forth, and this can delay your gold and some of your timings.
Yeah, this could be really annoying, especially since the Abbasid, they really need that bonus gold early on. When the Abbasid, they get to Feudal Age, they have one of the probably best technologies in the game, fresh foodstuffs. That's 125 gold. You want to get that as soon as possible, as soon as you reach the Feudal Age. It reduces the cost of your villagers by 50%, which is absolutely insane. It means that your villagers, they don't cost 50 food anymore, 25 food instead. And with that, the Abbasid, they can go onto multiple TCs for only investing a minimal amount of food into their villagers.
There we go. We see Noosh reach the 2nd age, and there he's pulled off 8 villagers, so he's moving on out, likely going for that boar. And RecoN, he knows that. He's going out to get some reconnaissance with his scouts, and he's going to be watching that. If we see the line of sight of RecoN, this is very common to do. When Rus hits the next stage, go sit on those boar with your scouts, and you can try to pull it and be annoying about it.
Yeah, you're able to pull it onto the villagers, get them to hit the boar a little bit earlier than they might like, maybe get it into an awkward position for them. But yeah, we see the 8 villagers now moving across the map. Also really important, Knuschelbär was able to get... He didn't do it there, but Knuschelbär was also able to get the wheelbarrow upgrade relatively early on. So that means his villagers are 15% Oh my god, this is actually a god tier spot here next to the deer as well. That's incredible. So after he's finished with the boar, he's able to then gather from the deer as well. That is...
Not only any deer, his opponent's deer.
That's absolutely incredible. Now placing a wooden fortress there, so that means if there should be any early aggression coming out from RecoN, he's gonna have an outpost there to defend himself.
This is exactly what I told you happens to Avison. They come out and they take your deer. Second TC on the way there. So one of the benefits of this opening is you could typically get your town centers down just a little quicker. I think you age a little later, but get your town centers a little quicker is typically how it works out. But it's very, very close. We've actually watched Abbasid mirrors where you have one person doing sheep and one doing the berries, and it's so dang close. Like, both are great options, really.
Something that we also see occasionally for the Rus is they're able to buy 300 stone in the Feudal Age. And then go for a second town center of their own. I think that's what we're going to see here relatively soon. He does have the gold. He does almost have the wood for it. And I think we're going to see a second TC there on the deer here.
Yeah, I was wondering if he'd put it here on the front line. But yeah, it's kind of looking like it. He's got the stone. Yep. Boom.
Yeah, and you can actually see how the terrain somewhat changes through the Fog of War. So even though RecoN hasn't scouted it, if he noticed the terrain change there, he might be onto that second TC being there.
Yep, and see what RecoN does. I do hear some horsemen coming out, so looking to maybe go out and do some raiding. He's double staple, so he's definitely going to be going for maybe a dive underneath a town center or something, but I don't know. I think Rus might be just content that RecoN is investing in anything. Military-wise.
Unless Knuschelbär is getting the emplacement upgrades on his wooden fortress, I think there's like 10 horsemen are going to be enough to take that down, even with 8 villagers inside of it. The wooden fortress is way tankier than your average outpost. It has 2,000 HP compared to 750, and you can put up to 8 villagers, or in general 8 units inside of it. That means that it is way tougher to take down a wooden fortress. It does cost more, almost twice the cost, but taking down a wooden fortress just involves a lot more units than taking down a normal outpost.
And starting with an archer range, it's not uncommon to see archers from the Rus, but of course, as his opponent is double stable, I would imagine that Nush doesn't know about it yet, because that could be a little bit of trouble if he does go for a dive.
At the same time, Nush is also making horsemen and knights, so I think he might have... Okay, he's going for the triple composition, so horsemen, cavalry, and infantry.
Yeah, it's so hard to deal with, especially if you've opened a single unit that's gonna... he's not gonna be able to counter those spears at all.
If Knuschelbär takes like 2 knights and moves them over to the second boar, he's gonna be able to hit that third tier for his bounty.
Yeah.
That could also be something to keep in mind.
That would be pretty good. We see, what's it, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it was 5 horsemen heading on out. Actually, I guess he's got 7 there on the map, so... Gonna be looking to maybe get a raid. What will he raid, though? Oh.
I mean, RecoN right now, he did wall himself in on the right side. However, he didn't wall any berries in. So he needs to push out at some point in time. This could be a really good outpost.
This has to be the same seed we had before. Remember the China game? This is like the exact same seed.
It's a little bit different. There are 2 entries to that hill that had the deer on it. But yeah, it's definitely very similar. But this is an S-tier outpost. If there were ratings for outposts, with that outpost, you're going to get so much vision on your opponent's base. But the horsemen, though, they seem to be sneaking past the outpost for Knuschelbär. We see Knuschelbär walling on the bottom side, but I think those horsemen are going to go through, and they might do a little bit of damage here.
I like this play, because honestly, they expect you to attack their wooden fortress. Like, Rus players are sitting there waiting for you to try to make some kind of play there, and this is kind of going around the side, but... luckily, or tactically, Knuschelbär has put down a wall, so actually going to see this horseman, and the element of surprise is over.
Yeah, maybe. So now he knows the horseman there, and
There he goes. He knows now.
Yeah, okay, now he knows for sure. Now he knows for sure, yeah. Ooh, Horseman being fast, though. Just able to move by. Just passing here. Oh, that's so much information that he's getting there. Seeing the archer range there early on.
Ooh, the night charge. So devastating. RecoN running back. Looks like he's trying to make a dive on that wooden fortress, but those villagers, they run to safety, and he's just going to keep running on by with the horsemen.
Yeah, RecoN really has to invest a lot into military right now. The military count for Knuschelbär, it's growing, and it's just the more value-oriented. Well, not value, but like every single of these units, at least when it comes to the knights, it's worth so much more than just a horseman. I think these 3 knights, they're probably able to take down like 10 horsemen on their own.
I've made the mistake of like turning around with my horse and being like, I got the numbers advantage, and yeah, those knights will really hurt. You're going to want some spearmen against those. So RecoN's running around. I wonder what his plan is here in the late. I see he's got a few villagers on gold right now, but mostly on wood. I was wondering if he's trying to sneak up to the next age while just distracting.
That could potentially hurt. I think RecoN getting like 1 to 2 villager kills here. Yeah, it looks like 2 villagers went down. Couple of horsemen losing their lives as well, though.
Yeah, that's a
RecoN
spearman.
pushing into the wooden fortress. Wooden fortress does have emplacements up, so it's gonna do a bit more damage than just without emplacements. All of these arrows are gonna do a little bit more damage. Can we see what emplacements exactly he has on that wooden fortress right now?
Yeah.
There is another emplacement, or at least an upgrade for your wooden fortress. Okay, so he didn't get the castle turret emplacement, which increases the damage of your every single arrow that the wooden fortress fires by 2. It's really a lot of damage that the wooden fortress can pump out in the Feudal Age.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do see RecoN does have barracks, an archer range, and a stable. We even saw a camel archer there in the mix, so he can get that camel unease, which will basically debuff the enemy knights. That's what the camels will do. And RecoN's massing up, and I think he's going to push this position here. It's kind of looking like we're wait for Knuschelbär to move in.
Yeah, 33 against almost 30. Well, no, now 36 against almost 30 military right now. Though, once again, we have knights on one side and no knights on the other side. Knights could really be the difference maker here in the end. We see both players floating a lot of food right now, so they might be lacking the production buildings just in order to pump out more military, or maybe as much military as they might want. Now we see RecoN, he's trying, it feels like he's trying to dive past the proxy base here and just go for some economy damage. However, Knuschelbär is aware of that, and every time these horsemen push out, Knuschelbär is there to follow.
Yeah, and you do see that Knuschelbär is doing 2 archer ranges, so the spearmen that really need to counter the knights are going to be out more danger. So yeah, I really feel like there's going to be a big fight here in Feudal, but we'll see. They're kind of doing a back and forth kind of stare down at the moment.
I mean, right now there is no outpost on the forward barriers. Okay, it looks like we have a fight here coming in very soon. Fight, though, is going to take place under the wooden fortress, and that's a lot of damage being dished out by it right now.
That was a weird little charge. He ran in there and sat still and then backed up.
Yeah, do I want to take this fight? I don't think so, but that's a lot of horsemen that we have right now. 23 horsemen. That's a lot of food investment into these horsemen. And now, is there going to be a second wooden fortress here? It looks like there's going to be a second wooden fortress here for Knuschelbär on the front. So if there's a fight, oh no. Oh no, RecoN is pushing past. He's running past. He's going to be running in, and there is no full wall right now for Knuschelbär. What's going to be the response to this? I think Knuschelbär, he needs to pull back just his knights.
Look at that. I think he's trying to hit that northern deer, and he's not going to.
That wall's not going to be in time. Quick wall. It's too late. It's too late. The cavalry is through, but at the same time, Knuschelbär is forcing a fight here on that side. The horsemen are going to be out of position. The question is, who is going to be able to take the most value here? Is it going to be the almost 25 horsemen, or is it going to be the main army from Knuschelbär? Both players now trying to basically have a base trade here, running into the economy from the enemy players.
Nice.
Oh, nice being caught out of position by the spears.
The knights
One
are the
knight
biggest
going
issue, so yeah, that's a great pickup by the spear. These horsemen haven't got any value yet.
They are causing a lot of idle time. I think both players right now are causing a lot of idle time for each other. But oh no, the knights. The high value units are going down. They're being... Oh no, that hurts to see. Knuschelbär now being down to 5 knights, and he's not using his main army right now.
And looking at the villager count, RecoN sitting on 72 versus the 66. So pretty good spot right now, and kind of, yeah. Now those archers aren't in as much danger since there's less knights. Those few that are there have low HP, as we see spearmen just kind of moving on in there. Some knights still alive. There's archers trying to pick off the spearmen, but it looks like the Rus are going to be on the retreat.
Yeah, there were a lot of villagers that just went down for recon, so now the village numbers are even more equal. But we see once again the horsemen moving into the economy of Knuschelbär. I think he never really pulled out the villagers that he had inside of his wooden fortress, so they've been idle for quite a long time there. But yeah, that's once again a little bit of idle time there for Knuschelbär. Knights just aren't able to catch up to these horsemen.
I like that one horseman he placed in the berry bushes down to the south. Like he's just like daring them to come out and take those berries later on.
RecoN pushing Knuschelbär further and further. Villagers being pulled once again inside the wooden fortress. Still no castle turret. That could, once again, it could increase the damage by a lot here from that wooden fortress. The horsemen, they've gotten a lot of value so far with that idle time. A lot of villagers here went down. Right now, RecoN being ahead by 10 villagers. Looking good here for RecoN right now. However, Knuschelbär, look at his food right now in the bank. He could potentially just trade out a couple of tickets and be on his way to Castle Age.
And that's exactly what he just did. Next level game sense there, Crackedy.
Makes sense in one way or another. But yeah, he's okay. That scout has been busy there for a while. He's been trying to hit that palisade for a while now. I think also the palisade has been repaired a little bit in between. But now the horsemen, they're going to run around. I mean, they might just as well go for a little bit of a drive-by on that scout here.
I always hate when I think that my opponents finally agreed that we're having a Feudal Age, fist fight, and then boom, he sneaks Age 3 out, and I'm Abbasid. And you're not just like panic throwing villagers down for an Age up. You gotta wait.
I think RecoN has a suspicion though. He's also now he's also going up the next Age. I mean, if your opponent isn't like pushing out or massing a lot of military and you know it, then there's only one real thing that might be going on for him, and that's going to be an Age up. So excellent game sense here from RecoN. He does know, okay, my opponent is probably on his way to Castle Age. I gotta go up as well. But at the same time, he's once again not going to be able to rush up his own Age up, while the Rus player, he's already up to the next Age. This is going to be interesting. Okay, so we see two Castle Age upgrades coming in for Knuschelbär right now, the Archer and the Knight upgrade. I think, yeah, he definitely has to wait right now until those upgrades come in. He shouldn't take any fights here. Sure, he might lose a wooden fortress, but that's totally fine. I mean, the wooden fortress isn't denying any resources right now from his opponent anyways. Yep. Now, though, he should just about move. Yeah, okay, now he got the upgrade on his knights. That's already a lot of value for these knights. The archer upgrade is also going to come in. That means that the archers don't just do a lot of damage against the enemy's archers or spears, but also against the horsemen. There's no pierce there. Oh my god, these walls are really, really good. Just walling right behind your opponent's walls means that they have now boxed themselves in.
And Abs is kind of pushing the corner, and of course the Rus will be looking to pick up all these relics. He just went up with the Abbey of the Trinity, so he's going to have warrior monks out in the field. It looks like he has 2 in queue, and we'll be grabbing, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 relics that would be kind of to the south side of RecoN's wall.
Yeah, he's also trying to wall in front of the sacred site. There were a couple of troops there from RecoN, but it looks like he's now pushing them back there. Yeah, is able to get that wall in as well. That means that there's now going to be a little bit of a choke point. I think this was one of the main difference that we, for example, saw in the game that that Tato was playing earlier on Lipany, where if you wall early on and you force your enemy into a choke, you don't have to be worrying about all of these raids coming in from the sides. If your opponent decides to raid from a side, at least you'll know early on when they try to knock on your door.
And we've got RecoN just massing up his his trash army, although I think he's throwing some man-arms in the mix now and some crossbows.
There was the horseman, as you said, but the villagers, they just take out their shifts and they make quick work of him. Now we see mangonels. This is going to be tough to hold for Knuschelbär if those mangonels come out. Oh, that's an annoying wooden fortress. That means that RecoN is not going to be able to gather any wood there or make any more farms towards that side. Farm transition has already come in for RecoN. He was not able to really take the map control here, and now we see the
510 bounty.
820. Yeah, that means that they have now unlocked their last tier. They're gonna get another 5% food gathering speed, and the hunting cabins are gonna collect a lot more gold from now on.
Yeah, very good play here. And RecoN is pushing out, and with a very good looking army there, he just needs to maybe grab that mangonel, then I think he could really do well in this fight.
Yeah, both players actually went for mangonel. Both players are gonna shoot with it now. Let's see who gets the more successful mangonel shots. Overall, army-wise, it looks like... Yeah, Knuschelbär does not have as much army. However, he is the only one right now that has the veteran archer upgrade. But mangonel shots... Okay, it looks like the mangonel shots right now, they're mostly focusing the front line of the unit, so they didn't actually fire on top of the archers. Now both players having veteran archers. This is gonna... I think this is taking... this is good for Knuschelbär right now. He didn't take any big shots towards his archers. Meanwhile, it looks like Knuschelbär did get a lot of good shots on the enemy archers. Only now RecoN is starting to focus down the enemy archers, and there aren't that many... Actually, there are no men-at-arms at all here, so the archers are just free to shoot on to any of these targets. None of these have a lot of armor.
Well,
it's gonna be difficult to take down those rams as there are no melee units anymore.
Too bad they can't ram a mangonel. I was kind of surprised RecoN there, like when he first saw that fight, didn't just back up and throw down a springald, because that's one of the benefits of Abbasid. You can just use your army and plop down siege very, very quickly, while it would take a Noosh a little bit longer to get his springals out. But nevertheless, he took the fight. It looks like he took out some buildings, but it's just these rams that kind of remain there.
Yeah, and with this, RecoN is still stuck inside of his base. Funnily enough, Knuschelbär has yet to pick up any of these relics. It looks like he used his warrior monks mainly for the fight there in order to buff up his units. Didn't grab any of the upgrades though yet from the Abbey of Trinity, so his warrior monks, like, there's just one upgrade that increases the tile range of your warrior monks when they buff units. Just grabbing one of those means that you don't need 3 of your warrior monks in the front, you can just have 1. Just need 1 warrior monk, it's gonna buff up the entire army, and your other warrior monks are free to roam around and pick up relics.
Yeah, and keep an eye on that stone count. RecoN has 800. Wow. There's my 6th sense. I mentioned stone count, and down comes the keep. Also going to say, often here in Castle Age, if you have a single winning fight, maybe mid-map, and could control a little bit, typically you see a keep follow-up, and it's very, very hard to contest that.
Yeah, now we see that keep going up. How many villagers are building it? That keep is gonna go up really, really quickly. Even more villagers are being pulled towards the front, so he's gonna try and wall up that side even more. Force the choke point here means that RecoN has to either go for a slow push through these walls or go straight through the keep, and it's gonna be really, really tough here. I mean, there's still one sacred site outside of the walls that probably is gonna be RecoN's main goal to attack if it comes to the point where Knuschelbär is going for a sacred site victory. But right now, Knuschelbär is looking relatively solid. The only thing that I'm worried about right now is going to be the farm transition here for Knuschelbär. He's been out on the map just gathering from all the deer and all the boar for quite a while here. So, actually, never mind. He does already have most of his farm transition down there, so he's going to be fine when it comes to that. So that's good for him.
Yeah, Noosh getting a 3rd relic. Being pretty set up right now, eco-wise, although RecoN's also got 110 vills, looking pretty good. We see stone walls being put down. These guys are setting up for a late-game fight.
Yeah, the big question is who is going to be superior here when it comes to late game. Knuschelbär with the ruse, he has access to the Streltsy, but RecoN probably has the best infantry in the later stages of the game with the Abbasid due to camel support, boot camp, and all of these kind of technologies. We have 2 Springles right now for RecoN, but no Mangonels or whatsoever in order to really make use of his anti-siege advantage that he has at the moment.
Yeah, so kind of a stare down here at the sacred site, but I think they're kind of just keep positioning back and forth there. It looks like they're about at villager max. What is the villager count you stop training villas out when you don't overboom?
Ideally, 120 is going to be the villager count that you want to aim for. Something to note about the Ruse is that their economy tends to be a lot more efficient due to them being able to grab these relics and so on and so forth. So as the Ruse, you can actually probably stop at around 100 villagers if you have most of the relics and you take control of the sacred sites. On top of that, you also have the hunting cabins generating gold passively all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, this is gonna be interesting. RecoN right now going up to the Imperial Age. Knuschelbär has the food for it, but he is lacking the gold right now to go up as well. At the same time, RecoN is feigning aggression. He's going in with his army right now. He's like, yo, I'm trying to take a fight here. I'm definitely not going up to Imperial Age. I would never do that. But yeah, this is just a facade being put up right now by RecoN. He's like, yo, don't.
He's got
take up on
stone
your own. You
walls to
gotta be
hide
military.
behind. Look at that. He's going to jump up there with his archers. I wonder.
Oh, quick walls being put up here by Knuschelbär. He's not gonna let those knights in.
Oh boy, yeah.
A lot of these knights also taking heavy fire from that keep, so yeah, I mean, that's not gonna be worth it. It's just gonna be walled behind, and you lost a couple of knights there on top of that. Knuschelbär is able to go up to the next age right now as well, but he is a little bit preoccupied here with the army from RecoN at the moment. There we go, now aging up as well.
A mangonel would do so well there. It's a full archer composition from Noosh, and I don't know where his springolds are.
Yeah, a couple mangonels.
Does he have any springolds?
Here.
He does somewhere.
2,
Probably on the back line.
Knuschelbär does have 2 springolds. It's really tough though if you want to push those stone walls. The mangonels, they're able to fire above those stone walls, and the springolds, they're not able to fire through.
Absolutely, and there we go. See RecoN reaching the Imperial Age, but Noosh not far behind him, also aging up as well. I'll have to keep an eye on what upgrades are coming in there for RecoN and if he tries to make a quick push here.
Food bank right now looking really heavy for RecoN. If it takes a fight, yeah, 2 culverins, that's gonna take him give him the definite siege advantage. Culverins are just such a high value unit with the. They only take 3 pop, the same amount of population as a Springald, but they're able to one-shot Springolds, and Springolds, they take like 4 or 5 shots in order to take them down. Okay, that's a little bit... Springolds moving in, taking out one of the mangonels here.
He can just wait for his culverin now. I really like this position because we got both players, they're at pop max, they're in age 4, and it's just going to come down to who has the army control. Now, Noosh does have 4 relics, so... definitely helping his economy out, but if RecoN can micro this right with this culverin, he could have some big successes as well. So it comes down to army control now.
Yeah, no mangonels behind this though for RecoN right now. So even if he takes the siege control, I mean the culverins, they still do very decent damage against units. I think they're probably able to one-shot or at least take most of the health away from an archer with a single shot. It's going to be interesting. We see Bandit Arms now also coming in for the ruse. That means that their Springolds combined with rolling shutter triggers go up to 12.5 tile range. It's still tough against these culverins, which one-shot them.
Boom!
And
oh my gosh!
Springolds taken out immediately. Big fight now happening towards the middle. I think, yeah, okay, there's a cannon emplacement coming in for Knuschelbär on his keep. It's not there yet, so it's gonna take a little bit longer for that to come in. As soon as that comes in though, it's gonna do a lot of damage. There we go, cannon placement has come in. That will be a lot of damage. Still no mangonel here.
And
so
we do see a bombard.
Yeah, they're gonna be taking down bombard coming in. That's gonna be heavy damage onto the keep.
Yep, so now he's kind of taking care of the Springald issue. His man-arms in the front line were soaking up so much damage because a lot of this army was archers, not necessarily just crossbows. And of course, his man-arms, they're not scared of those archers as much. See the horsemen actually charging in now, which are quite good against the archers, and that bombard working away on that keep. Noosh has 1,000 stone in the bank if he wants to do some repair work. But right now, RecoN seems to be kind of making some good military progress.
Yeah, right now the military numbers looking vastly in favor for RecoN. At 80 army, meanwhile Knuschelbär is sitting on 30 army. It feels like there's just not enough production right now for Knuschelbär. He keeps making crossbowmen, but he has nothing in order to take down any of these culverins or bombards. And now it looks like his economy is going to be in danger as the horsemen dive through onto the town center.
Yep, this is going to be... RecoN kind of was sat back for a good portion, or it felt like he was to the northern part of the map, with the exception of some of these raids early on, and now he's just kind of hit H4 and showing us the might of the Abbasid dynasty here as his siege just rolling up 2 bombards, 2 culverins, and a massive units to protect him.
It feels right now like Knuschelbär just got caught off guard a little bit by the timing push here from RecoN. It feels like if there was like a minute more or something like that, Knuschelbär could have just increased his production a lot. Look at his resource right now. He has almost 7,000 food and over 2,500 gold. He's just struggling when it comes to the production. He just has not enough production buildings here right now. He's getting the upgrade for his knights for them to do 4 more melee damage, but he doesn't even have a lead yet, and he realizes and calls a GG as all of his forward production buildings are being taken down.
And that's going to be round 1 of the quarterfinal game between RecoN and Knuschelbär, the Abbasid Dynasty coming out on top. Part of it being there towards the end, when you build forward bases in Age of Empires 4, there's no escape. I mean, in Age of Empires 3, which I told you Nush comes from, if you lose your army, you can get batch training. So you can pop out 5-10 units at a time. It's not a huge deal, but here in AOE4, if they get up on top of your forward base, you're just hosed because you can't just make 1 unit at a time and trickle back in. Even though he had all of that resources in the bank, it didn't matter. With that, dive into game number 2 of the quarterfinals between RecoN and Knuschelbär, and this is of course the penultimate weekly event on that road to Red Bull Wololo.
And we hear the Khan firing off his signaling arrow there. That means the game is about to start. There we go. We got Knuschelbär here playing as the red Mongols, and on the other side we have RecoN playing as the blue Mongols as well.
I always like being the blue Mongols. Being the blue Mongols, it's the color of the flag. Your troops, they just fight better.
Is that even the same continent where RecoN's Uvu is placed? That's very far away. I mean, he does have the wood. He does have the
Uvu,
he does have
holy
the
cow.
gold under his TC, but that Uvu is a little bit exposed potentially.
Both of them have gold under the town center, so that's good.
Oh, I just thought of something. Imagine this: you're not able to town center rush anymore without with your main TC. Yeah. But imagine this: you build a secondary TC. Like we've seen secondary TC Mongol rushes before.
Mm-hmm.
How about you town center rush one of these docks in Feudal Age?
On the docks, that would be a play. Are there any shore fish in this? Or is it just deep water fish?
It's just deep water fish.
Okay, I was just wondering if you build a town center there, could the villagers gather? So that's just what we're gonna have there. Okay, there's that barracks.
And there we go, barracks. Yep, both players opting for the barracks before the dock, so neither of them wanting to take the risk here. I mean, to be fair, RecoN, with that Uvu, you have to go for the barracks first. You cannot fall behind when it comes to spears. Imagine if RecoN here just goes for the greedy dock at the beginning. Both the dock and the Uvu might be under fire very, very fast.
Do you think there's any chance that one of these players won't go for a dock and go for the next age instead?
I mean, whoever is going to be the player that is going to be behind when it comes to water, it depends on how the Spearman fight goes. If one of these players is not going to be able to take any map control in Feudal Age at all, they won't have another option. They have to go for the tech approach.
Man, that
depending on when the fishing is going to come in, it might actually lead to one of these players who isn't going to go for fish to have a little bit of a faster castle age timing.
Yep. Yeah, comes the Spearman. I just saw the Khan T-bone each other there a second ago, but they're okay. Everybody's okay. They kept moving. They exchanged info. And looking at the deer out here on the map, I guess 2 deer. Those are small deer patches, right? They look like they're small ones up to the north. Those were kind of like a newer addition as far as the deer go.
Yeah, those are 2 small deer patches right next to each other, so they form one normal deer patch.
Yeah.
Now we see Knuschelbär going for dock, and RecoN spots that. RecoN knows that Knuschelbär is going for that early dock. Might mean that RecoN is just going to double down when it comes to his army production early on. Might also potentially just pull a villager for an outpost on that dock.
Yep, so dock is going up. It looks like he's going to have it. And I'm not seeing any blue dock yet.
There is a dot moving like towards that upper front, though. So, yeah, it looks like RecoN is also going for a dock of his own here.
Yep, so going to be pushing out. Look like down there in the corner. Looks like nice and close to those fish out in the lake. And yeah, so far, spearmen and fishing. This is kind of what we expected to see.
Khan outmaneuvering those spearmen.
Ha. Later, nerds.
Not getting any hits in. Yeah.
And that Gur, he's looking out, doing a scout. Let's see the line of sight of that Gur there. I want to see that because that's a newer thing. Although forget the line of sight. Let's watch the spearman. Then of course, like I hate you.
4 spears against actually now 7 spears. RecoN is full on committing to those spears. We see Knuschelbär also now producing spears. 3 villagers being pulled here by Knuschelbär in order to four villagers getting pulled here in order to get that outpost up as soon as possible. RecoN knows that there's an outpost going up. He might just turn around now and go for these villagers.
Oh boy. Yeah, he's not though. He's engaging the spearman. This is probably honestly best case here for Knuschelbär because he just wants to get that tower up.
Yeah, getting the tower up. Dude. Oh no, the Gur. Wait, what's going on? Why is RecoN pulling back? Does he want to go for the Gur? Okay. He's just pulling back. He knows he can't compete with the outpost there. As soon as that outpost is out, that's gonna make it really, really tough here for RecoN to get any damage out onto that dog. And yeah, Knuschelbär is gonna be completely fine here. Oh, Khan going down though. That's GG.
GG, he's done. Khan is down, everyone. But he'll
Get
be back.
your GGs in the chat.
The one nice thing about playing Mongols is I'm great at just like accidentally throwing my scout like right at the enemy TC like an idiot, and at least when I play Mongols I get him back.
Something interesting to note here, there are 3 deep sea fish that are towards the right side of the pond for Knuschelbär. An outpost on like one of the sides of the pond could potentially range all 3 deep sea fish spots and with the recent change where now outposts do bonus damage to fishing ships as well. They only used to do bonus damage against combat ships before. Now they also do it to fishing ships. That could potentially deny all the food income here from the pond for RecoN. We don't see any of these players though going for any outposts on the opponent's pond yet though.
Yep. And it looks like both are aging up with the deer stones. Nothing crazy here. No trading, I guess. I never like when the market's like right in the market's distance from that main town center is so close. Like even if you wanted to trade, like you have to move it. Where would you put your market on this map to trade?
I mean, nowhere. This is looking really, really bad here. When it comes to trading, with markets scaling exponentially, there's just not a really good spot here for trade at all. Yeah, with these markets spawning right in the middle.
They're like, here's these markets, do with them what you want, but this is about the water.
Yeah, I wouldn't personally want to trade on a map like this.
Okay, there we got a counter dock.
Getting spotted. RecoN also aged up with a lot more villagers, so he's very likely to be the first one to age up. He also has a resource to immediately start making archer ships. So could potentially... I mean, there's still the outpost of Knuschelbär on his pond. So in theory, Knuschelbär should always be able to keep his fishing ships somewhat safe. But yeah, light junk now coming out. Knuschelbär not yet being up, that means that the light junk is going to be significantly faster for RecoN. That could idle his food economy for a while then when it comes out.
Well, and RecoN doesn't have the wood in the bank really to queue up another junk yet. He almost does. And he's just about to hit the second age. There he goes. And I'm sure he'll be queuing one up.
There's a couple of spearmen from Knuschelbär right now sieging down the dock from RecoN. Oh, there's already a light junk being queued. Perfect game sense here. And the villager is also on his way. So that light junk could not just kill all of these spearmen, but could also deny the counter dock from Knuschelbär. And we see the villager, he's just standing still now. He thought about it. And actually, that light junk is also just standing still, just thinking about life at the moment.
Just enjoying a day of sailing out there in the sea.
Should I hit these fishing ships or should I let them be?
Okay, so we've got archery range I saw back there in the base. So archery range and a barracks. Although Noosh does scout this, and actually, here comes the issue with your Ubu being very far away from your town center. It's easy to harass it.
Yeah, I think at this point it's better to just cancel the... Okay, you can't cancel it anymore. Now the units have hit it. That means if you cancel it, that's free resource for Knuschelbär. Right now, the light junks are just taking down these fishing ships. They don't care about the enemy junk hitting them. They just want that fishing ship gun.
Yeah, it's very common where I see that, where you got this kind of like counter dock situation where instead of fighting the other warship, just go for the fishing boats instead.
Yeah. RecoN right now looking really strong, able to deny Knuschelbär's food economy on the water, and Knuschelbär in return he's not able to get a dock up on his opponent's water. So right now looking really good for Knuschelbär. He is queuing up 2 light chunks, but I think at this point it's a little bit too late for you to regain water control. It just feels like your opponent with the significant mass advantage, you're not going to be in a position to regain water control anytime soon here. I think this is the point in time where you have to commit to your land economy and try to go for a technology advantage, go for a faster castle age, and try to maybe catch your opponent off guard there. Down
goes that light jump. It's just not like a Hulk versus Junk situation here. It's just who's got more boats, who's microing them. Look at them as they sink there. They go all the way through the bottom of the map. You see the big blue line.
It just signifies how deep these ponds are. That's like a Mariana Trench out there.
They got deep sea fish, you know. Just go diving in there.
A little bit of junk on junk action right now. RecoN now opting into archers here. Wait, what's the food income for Knuschelbär right now? Absolutely awful.
Yeah, that's a lot of spearmen. A lot on gold though. He's got over 1,000 gold.
Yeah, he had some idle time under his town center as well, and now he does have the emplacements there, and there are 2 light chunks here, though, so that might actually be a lot of army here going down for RecoN.
I think Noosh is going to buy the next age. I can only assume with the amount of gold he has.
All the archers did go down, however, Spearman Mass just so superior here, and yeah, these light chunks, they might not actually just get torched down by these spearmen. Okay, now instead they decide to go for the dock. This is looking really rough now here for Knuschelbär. He is under attack
on the market. That's the only thing I think he has to go to the next age right now. He's got 1,600 gold, 1,200 food.
Because he's aging up before him.
Oh, he is? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
This is looking really rough now. Almost 10 economy units ahead of Knuschelbär. RecoN is on. Okay, there's gonna be an outpost there on the dock, on the pond, but I don't think that's gonna result in anything. Yeah, the light chunk has already spotted that. Actually, has it? I think the Khan might have just attacked the light chunk and tipped it off there.
It's Cruelty time. He needs it.
Cruelty. Yeah, I don't think a Cruelty is the way to go here. Sure, you buff up your military, but what military? You don't have any right now.
Now hold on a second. Me and Crackedy were playing team games the other night, and he told me to make the Cruelty. Now he's telling me not to. I'm getting mixed signals.
I said okay. So in fairness, the Cruelty is not a bad landmark. It's actually a really, really good landmark. However, there are some restrictions for that. The Cruelty is really good if you have the Silver Tree, for example, because you are basically going to have a lot of gold income from that, so you're not reliant on the step redoubt for a lot of your gold income. That's when the Cruelty really shines. When you already have the gold income from the Silver Tree, that's when the Cruelty... I mean, you don't need the bonus gold income at that point from the step redoubt. That's basically it. But on its own, the Cruelty, I would say, is probably more like the Tower of Victory.
Yeah, maybe. We see a war junk coming out on that northern pond. I definitely enjoyed the Cruelty and the team games with trading, like you said. I would highly recommend checking it out. It's been changed a little bit, but I thought it was pretty strong.
Both players going for the war junk, so... I mean, the war junk is relatively special when compared to the Hulk, at least. In Castle Age, it's the strongest ship, I believe. It has a lot of damage. The sprinkled shots from the war junk do 120 damage each. I think the Hulk only does like 80, or at least significantly less in comparison, at least. And yeah, that war junk is able to make short work of that light junk.
Oh, but he was ready for it. He knew it was coming. I was like, if he got it uncontested, he could have done a lot of damage here. But RecoN's ready for it. But he's still going to do a little bit of damage. Looking at that villager count, RecoN is up by 15, 16 right now. And we have some sheep operation set up for Noosh. Uh-oh. What?
Villager on Khan action going on here right now.
I mean, this is a good Khan trade. Probably that's a lot of wasted villager seconds.
Now he notices and he's just going to scoot out there. But looking at the food income, it's almost 1,000 food per minute compared to pretty much 100 food per minute. Now the war junk going down for Knuschelbär as well. I mean, he's making another one, but at the same time, there are fishing ships repairing that war junk. This is not looking the best right now. Okay, there's gonna be a sneak tower, at least a sneak attempted outpost on the wood line for RecoN by Knuschelbär, but okay, actually insignificant wood. Oh, and the Lancerates. Okay,
Nice.
There might be a way for Knuschelbär back into this game.
Raid
It
himself
involves
back in.
yeah, that's the invisible horseman syndrome that we might need to see here.
So that's a loud ping.
Both of them taking each other out. Oh no.
Oh, they both died? Nice.
Ah, no invisible horseman here.
The wolf playing for the enemy, and the Khan sees it. I don't know if he's going to get that.
He knows. But at the same time, RecoN is now going to push in with this army.
Yeah, he might
I'm
just
going
get
down.
it up.
Maybe GG now. Khan's dead, but
Well,
army advantage still heavily in the hands of RecoN. 35 against 6 army right now.
yeah, and you know, on Knuschelbär's home map, you kind of hate to see him pushed off water like this. You highly doubt that this was in his plan. Maybe he thought he had some tactics to control the water, but now he's in such a difficult position, and we see RecoN really moving across the middle portion of the map, and RecoN now losing some of his military protection buildings.
To be fair, Knuschelbär is now in a position to push RecoN off of water completely on that one pawn. It seems like RecoN has given that up. He just wants to dive in now with his army and just get Knuschelbär out of the game, basically. He knows that he has had the superior food income for quite a while, though it could be kind of dangerous for RecoN to dive like this right now. He might be losing a lot of his military. Knuschelbär, wisely enough, he made a couple of outposts. Oh no, you can't repair it like that. You can't repair it while it's packed up. If you repair it while it's packed up, you're gonna be wasting a lot of resources. It's actually, it's like you're repairing your siege, and the siege
really?
repair has been nerfed. Yeah. So repairing it while it's packed up actually decreases your resources heavily.
I didn't know
Very,
that.
very heavily.
Learning something every day. There we go.
The villagers being swapped out there.
RecoN doing a lot of damage here. I mean, he's idled completely, lost a fair amount of villagers. Stable, maybe gonna survive.
He's still repairing it. He's still repairing it while it's packed up. This is looking really bad right now for Knuschelbär. And at the same time, I think there are outposts coming up for RecoN on the map in front of the base of Knuschelbär. Also production buildings in the back being found out by him. It's hurting right now. It's hurting a lot. And Yukon rises, but what that Khan is going to be finding is an empty step redoubt. Well, no, that's a Lancer, but it's still an empty, idle step redoubt. I mean, if you're RecoN, you're very happy seeing that.
He's got 2 more relics coming in. He'll have 3 relics here. There's towers watching what's going on. No emplacements on them yet.
More and more outposts coming in with sprinkled emplacements as well. Actually, no, that's arrow slits. Okay, interesting. Might not have the stone right now for sprinkled emplacement.
Yep.
He's still repairing.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
wasting so much wood in that. Look at the wood count. It's going down so much. You cannot repair a packed up building. If it's packed up, you're wasting so much wood.
I mean, I'm glad you've told me this, because I have no clue. I would be sitting here doing the same thing. I don't know how there could be a tooltip that tells you, like, don't repair packed buildings. They got store, but that's definitely an extra tidbit of information that'll be good to know.
Shaman now being caught with the relic in his hands. Stable, just chilling next to the Gur, providing emotional support. Step Redoubt moved away from the gold because there were enemies there. Now moving towards the enemies again. Yep, Knights finding them. Step Redoubt taking a lot of damage. While these buildings are packed up, they have 0 armor, so torch damage really hurts them there. Actually, never mind. It's not torch damage anymore. They're just hitting them with their melee attacks. Does even more damage then.
And
Actually, didn't think about that. The units, they now hit these buildings even if they're packed up with their melee attack, so that's a lot more damage than just simple torch attacks.
oh yeah, that's a good point. In come the the Lancers to do a charge. Not enough Spearmen to stop him, and those Lancers should just keep rolling forward. He has some more Lancers to meet him. Might be able to do a little bit of damage here. We see
it never feels good when you have less spears than the enemy has Lancers. And yeah, the Lancers just absolutely destroy the spears there.
Yeah, and from this point, it's going to be very hard to stop. I mean, RecoN just could keep rallying Lancers to the base. There you go, going in for the charge. He's got towers. They built towers to garrison in, but unfortunately doesn't have the villagers that he might like to have.
Yeah, economy numbers right now. Knuschelbär almost 25 villagers behind. It's just looking dire for him right now. I mean, it's beneficial that RecoN is throwing away a lot of army in his base, but he's getting so much value just with the idle time. And now also making a lot of men-at-arms, and men-at-arms, they do really well against spearmen as well. And with these men-at-arms coming in, Knuschelbär is no longer going to be able to just spam one unit type in order to survive.
Yep, and RecoN continuing to... actually, those towers on the front line haven't been finished. I would say he's continuing to tower up, but it needs to get this down. Economy looking quite good, looking at what RecoN has. He's spotted the military production, and he could just camp there now if he wants to.
Yeah, now the production being sieged down, meaning that any units being made there are, and also outposts on the gold that the Steppe Redoubt is moving towards to again. This really hurts right now. There is just, like, RecoN isn't just playing this for short term, he's also playing this long term. He's getting outposts up on these crucial resources that Knuschelbär needs. We see the stone and the gold in the front has outposts around it. Now the gold on the left side has outposts around it. Knuschelbär is now going to be able to take down a couple of these outposts, but a little bit of bounty here is not going to bring him back into the game at this point in time.
Yep, and I'm trying to think about what would be a condition of which he could try to recover, but very challenging here considering his opponent has water. Actually, does Knusch have control of the northern lake? I guess he maybe does. But
yeah, Knuschelbär has control of that lake, but he has no fishing ships in it at all.
Yeah. He has his 3 relics, though. He's got his relics in a dream. Maybe a giant Wololo. You know, maybe something like that.
I want to believe, but at the same time, we have almost 20 men-at-arms now coming in for RecoN. I mean, there are now a couple of crossbowmen, but 20 men-at-arms?
So what you're saying is he's sending in all melee units, so when he grabs the relic, there's no escape, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
When I'm trying to do like a last-ditch Wololo, I always hope that my enemy just has melee units, because that's when you get lucky sometimes.
Oh, this is looking so rough. Now almost 30 villager advantage here for RecoN. RecoN still has full control over that bottom pond, so he has a lot of his food economy there. But these knights, they're just running in every now and then, just idling the economy from Knuschelbär so much. He even took down the Uwe at one point, so there's no stone income right now for Knuschelbär at all. Not that he could really do anything with it right now. He doesn't have access to gold outside of the relics. He does have 4 relics, that helps him a lot. RecoN also went for a 2 TC play here, so yeah. The economy for RecoN is just in a much better position. Not just economy, but also military. Then again, Knuschelbär now has the superior mass of crossbowmen, and that's the one counter against these armored units, which could potentially bring him back into the game. He has a little bit of a meat shield with these, with a couple of remaining spearmen that he has, so potential to come back into the game here if he just keeps taking beneficial trades. But RecoN, I think he went into that second town center with the thought of, okay, what if I just continue to lose fights? I gotta scale my economy, and that's exactly what he does. Now over 30 villagers or 30 economy units ahead.
Well, you gotta play it safe. Like, sure, maybe on a ladder game, he might have just kept pushing it there and try to overwhelm his opponent to quit, but this is a tournament game. He's looking at maybe putting this series behind himself and move on to the finals for the Saturday bracket. So not surprising he sat back, did the eco thing. I'd like to point out, as far as, you know, I told you these 2 players are very close in the points race. Knusch was sitting on 31 points. RecoN was on 24, so technically had less. And RecoN's doing really well here. Looking like he's likely going to take this, considering he's sitting on 76 villagers compared to Knusch's 43.
With almost 24 points, that means if you get into like the top 4 on a Sunday event, you can get into that spot where you can qualify for a ticket to Heidelberg based on your points alone. Right now, in order to qualify, if the points don't change, next week, if you got more than 42 points, you can qualify for Wololo just on points alone.
Yeah, absolutely. And just taking a little peek at the bracket on the other side, it looks like there's Puppy Paw versus Garneth is currently going on. So the winner of this series is going to face one of those guys. I mean, I'd put my money on Puppy Paw being a qualified player, but Garneth also has had some good performances, but it's not going to be an easy route to those finals, that's for sure.
I mean, it's comparing a top 5 player to like a top 100 player, so yeah. There's a huge difference in skill, in my opinion, when it comes to like the top 5 players and like the top 100. It would be a huge upset if Garneth managed to win against Puppy Paw.
Yeah, absolutely. And Knusch taking out a few of these towers mid, showing he's still got some fight left in him. It looks like, what are those, spearmen and crossbows? Or is those man-arms and crossbow? I couldn't see with the torches out.
That's a little bit of both, mostly spears and crossbows. He's now adding a couple of man-at-arms. This is working well for him. He has 4 relics, so he does have the gold income. Crossbowmen, they cost relatively little gold, so he is able to make a lot of crossbowmen just with that gold trickle from the relics alone. And since you're Mongols, you don't have to move out of your base at all when it comes to gathering food. So that's like the one unit that he's able to just spam constantly without great risk of losing his economy or just putting his economy at risk. And right now, the army numbers are looking fairly similar. They're just walking by each other. I guess Knuschelbär wants to trap RecoN's army in at some point here. I mean, now he's walking into it. Maybe with the signaling arrow, he can close the gap. But the men-at-arms here, due to them being a little bit slower, that means that RecoN's knights aren't as fast as they could be. Okay, now he's splitting them up.
Yeah, that's a good... Knusch has been making good trades. Like, I think if you look at the military graph at the end of this, then... He's even neutralizing some of this south pawn. Like, I know the villager difference is quite significant, but he does have 4 relics and, you know, and a dream.
I mean, it's as we said earlier, if you just keeps taking these advantageous fights, then, I mean, if you only win your fights and you never lose your fights, surely you can't lose the game.
Yeah. And, yeah, what a villager is good for. You just gotta win with your army. And we do see, speaking of army, RecoN pushing in pretty hard, and Knusch maybe looking to try to get a flank on this. Is that what he's doing? Is he repositioning or moving to the north just a little bit? Oh, flattening some...
fighting. I mean, actually killing the Khan, so that might be GG right then and there, but...
third time's a charm.
Units benefiting from the Yamara network there, so he's able to roam around now at least a little bit quicker. He did lose 5 villagers that were trapped in that outpost next to the step redoubt. So, I mean, it's hard. Every single villager that you lose is gonna put you further and further behind, but... I mean, he still has a dream, but now we see the mangonauts coming in, and I don't think Knuschelbär has any wood to spare right now when it comes to siege.
He's gonna throw a relic at him. That's all he needs. He could buy wood. Got gold.
I don't think he even has improved siege engineering. I mean, he did have a blacksmith at one point in time next to an Ubu, but I don't think he got it at that point. Now he's making another blacksmith next to an Ubu.
Yep.
It's gonna take time though to come in.
2 mangonels. That's gonna change the story a little bit here, as we have a ton of crossbows, 31 in fact. Staring down 2 mangonels right now, and how's he gonna kill those mangonel? I don't see any horsemen or anything of the likes.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, RecoN also has archers, so the spears, they can't just run through. The archers will make short work of them. Crossbowmen also do really well against spearmen. And yeah, he didn't have siege engineering unlocked, at least not even the base version. So yeah, and the step redoubt also getting siege down now. He's gonna... Yeah, okay, he's gonna pack it up, but the archers are gonna be doing full damage to that step redoubt at this point in time.
Yeah, that's a really good point of it. When you pack up those buildings, the range damage they take is just so much more massive than if you just kept it there. But yeah, trying to get it out of there. Mangonel's moving up, and The walls are closing in. I guess no walls since it's the Mongolmir, but as Mangonel, he's got to stop it with some Springald somehow. It looks like he's trying.
RecoN now at 100 villagers, and the income just, it tells you the entire story. Almost 4 times the gold income, double the wood income, more food income as well. And Knuschelbär at this point in time, he just has no answers to these mangonels at all. These mangonels, if they get a good shot on these crossbowmen, it's over. Knuschelbär really tries to stay in this game. There's so much weighing on these games right now in these weekly qualifiers. Oh no. Oh, you gotta be so careful there. If you lose all your villagers, since they're all clumped up next to this beam, it's over. Can't recover. And now RecoN, he's just diving and he's taking the fight under the town center, under the towers. It just doesn't matter. He has these mangonels. The mangonels can just creep in closer and closer. Knuschelbär has to fall back over and over again, and now the villagers are exposed as the outposts go down, and this has to be GG at this point. Only now improved siege engineering has come in, but Knuschelbär has lost so many villagers once again. He's trying to make the Springles, but he's not making the Springles with all of his military. Actually, town center could be sieged down here just with units alone.
Execute order, Wololo.
Okay, the town center actually managed to take down one of these mangonels here. First Springle has been made. Town center soon to catch on fire though. Military numbers right now heavily in favor of RecoN, and I mean, the Springald is kind of exposed here. If the Lancers just suddenly decide to roam around and just run around and kill the Springald, that could be easily done. Okay, now he's moving them back, but town center on fire. It's shooting at the units as best as it can, but
he is hanging on.
Yeah, hanging on the threat though.
Just imagine 3 relics picked up right now, and GG Noosh wins.
Oh,
are you imagining? God. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm imagining right now, but this is just a slow death here coming in now. RecoN is just saying, dude, get out of my game. I'm under your town center. I am literally sitting inside of your base, and there we go. Knuschelbär realizes it. It's kind of heartbreaking. I mean, these games, there's a lot depending on these type of games. RecoN, though, taking this series with a 2-0 victory.
And there you have it. RecoN looking pretty dominant in these 2 games, and he will move on to the finals of this bracket. Of course, this is pool number 1. With the other side of the bracket, it's going to be Puppy Paw or Garneth, whoever ends up winning that series. So now we're going to get ready for a new one for us, another best of 3, and it looks like it's going to be, we don't know yet, but it's going to be